Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
Responding to the greetings of another person. Part of social norms is to greet people that you know on the street, and even people that you don't know. Neighbors, acquaintances, you say hello. And certainly if someone said hello to you, you answer back. Many are unaware that this seemingly obvious social standard is actually a halacha. And with this we will explain in what circumstances one is required to answer to a greeting and how one is to answer. So it's recorded in the Gemara in Brachas 6b that if one was given shalom, if one was greeted by another individual, and he did not repeat it back to him, he ignored him, he is called a gazlan. He's a ganav, he's a robber. And this is learned from a verse in Yeshayahu, as brings the Gemara there. Ve'atem bi'artem akerem gzeilas ha'ani bevatechem, explains Rashi. How do you steal from a poor person if he owns nothing? He said hello to you, you didn't answer him back. You stole the only thing he has, which is his blessing. In other words, that when someone greets somebody else, he acknowledges your existence, he's given you something of his with his full heart, and you're required to return and give it back, otherwise it's stealing. This statement of the Gemara is recorded in many Sfarim, Rishonim, and Achrayim. So records Taisvis and Baba Kama 73b, also brought in Yalkut Shemaini, Yeshaya, in Sefer Atanya, in the Raven, Shibulei Aleket. And so is evident from a clear Mishnah in Maseches Brachas 13a, recorded Lehalach in the Torah, Mechaber Shulchanaruch, and the Alter Rebbe in chapter 66.1 in Orach Chaim, that it is permitted even in the middle of Kriya Shema to answer someone who greeted you while you're in the middle of davening Kriya Shema, Mipnei Darkei Shalom. Thus we see that stealing is not just someone who takes someone's monetary property, but even someone who takes a good gesture or a good feeling from someone else and doesn't return it. Stealing is not just with money. Explains the Meneiras HaMa'or that the reason the Chachamim established this requirement of greeting another, returning a greeting, is to avoid spreading unnecessary enmity between two parties. As who knows what the person who didn't receive back a greeting is going to start thinking. Maybe he doesn't like me, maybe I did something to him, maybe he's just a narcissist that only thinks about himself. And therefore the Chachamim were kevei established that you must respond back to a greeting. Now what about if you're in the middle of an activity, you're learning, you're davening, you're doing business, you have to answer to someone who tells you hello, good morning, shalom aleichem. So Taisvis and Bava Kama clearly rules that even if you're in the middle of business, Masa Umatan, you are required to stop and answer him. And as we just clearly brought from the Halach in 66.1, even in the middle of davening, you're required to answer him. But here, today, the minhag is no longer to answer someone who greeted you during davening once you're past Baruch Shama and onwards, because this has already become the custom. And people know when you're in the middle of davening, you can't answer, so they're not going to be makpid, it's not going to cause enmity, because they know why you didn't answer. So records the Mishnah Brura based on the Magen Avram and the Alter Rebbe in 66.1. See there, this is a matter that requires further elaboration in a different halacha. But nonetheless, from this we can understand that if you're in the middle of davening in an area that you're allowed to stop, then you have to stop in order to greet him back. So whether you're saying Tehillim and someone says hello to you, or you're in the midst of Karbonis and the like, based on this, seemingly, if one is in the middle of learning Torah, he would also be required to answer to a greeting, even in the middle of Torah learning. The Chesed La'alafim and Achron in chapter 156, Halacha 8, writes something interesting regarding how you're supposed to respond. Many people, instead of saying hello back or good morning back or Aleichem Shalom, they simply nod with their head. Writes the Chesed La'alafim, it doesn't help, it doesn't suffice. You have to actually repeat with words back. And this opinion is actually sourced in the Sefer Atanya, who says that if someone blessed you by saying Shalom, good morning, you have to return the blessing back. Nodding is acknowledging what he said, but is not returning the blessing, so it's still considered stealing. So therefore, if someone says good morning, Shalom Aleichem, you have to give a blessing back in return and not just to nod the head. And Meretz Hashem, with being more particular in these halachas and being careful to always greet people back, even Gentiles, this will increase in peace between one and another, and avoid unnecessary enmity for being created between fellow Jews and fellow people.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.